Camera fades in. You're sitting in your clinic or office, looking serious. The lighting is slightly dramatic. Soft, tense background music plays, you looking directly into the camera. As a brain doctor, someone who has spent over 2 decades studying the human brain and treating hundreds of stroke patients, I thought I had seen it all. But recently I came across something that genuinely shocked me. Something so simple, so common, and yet so dangerous, especially for seniors. Cut to quick flashes of brain scans, a senior sitting in bed using their phone, and a heartbeat monitor spiking. It's one everyday habit, one that millions of people do without even thinking, could silently be increasing your risk of stroke overnight? Yes, overnight. Not in months, not in years. This is something that can quietly damage your brain while you sleep. Cut to you walking in your office, stopping to look at a brain scan on a screen. You voiceover. When I first noticed a strange pattern in some of my older patients, otherwise healthy seniors suddenly showing up with mini strokes or warning. Since I started to dig deeper, what I found in the research was both shocking and frustrating. Why isn't this being talked about more? Dramatic pause. Cut to a close-up of your face. You calm but firm. The brain is an incredibly powerful, delicate organ. A single poor decision repeated every day can change the blood flow to your brain, raise your blood pressure, and damage the arteries that keep your mind alive. And yet, this specific habit, which I'll reveal in just a moment, is still being practiced in nearly every home. Every night. B-roll footage of an elderly man falling asleep with the TV on, or scrolling on his phone in bed. You voiceover, if you're a senior, or if you care about someone who is your parents, grandparents, or even yourself, then this video might just save a life. Cut back to you in your office. Now, more serious, intense music, slightly rising. You direct to camera. So what is this habit? How exactly does it harm the brain? And what can you do today to protect yourself or your loved ones from a sudden, life-changing stroke? Beat, you lean slightly forward. In this video, I'm going to break it all down, based on science, real patient cases, and what I've seen in my own practice. And trust me, by the end, you'll never see your nighttime routine the same way again. Cut to you standing beside a large brain model or digital diagram on screen. The lighting is clear, professional. Calm background music continues. You direct to camera. Before I reveal the dangerous habit, let's talk about the enemy. Stroke. You might think strokes only happen to people who are already very sick or bedridden. That's a myth. Cut to a simple animation of the brain, showing a stroke occurring, blocked artery, brain cells dying. You voiceover. A stroke happens when blood flow to a part of the brain is cut off, either by a clot or a bleed. Within minutes, brain cells start dying. And the worst part, in most cases, it happens suddenly and without warning. Cut to a statistic graphic. Every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke. You calm and serious. Yes, you heard that right. Every 40 seconds, someone, somewhere, is suffering a stroke. That means by the time you finish watching this video, multiple people may already have lost their ability to speak, walk, or even survive. Cut to images of seniors with mobility aids. Someone doing rehab after a stroke? And stroke doesn't just steal your physical health, it can affect memory, speech, mood, and independence. For seniors, a single stroke can mean the difference between living at home or needing full-time care. Cut back to you at the brain diagram. But here's what makes this even more serious. 80% of strokes are actually preventable. That means your daily choices, especially at night, can directly influence your brain's future. Zoom into a highlighted section of the brain related to blood flow. In a healthy brain, blood flows smoothly through tiny vessels. But with bad habits, especially ones that raise blood pressure, reduce oxygen, or disturb your body's natural rhythm, these vessels become damaged, inflamed, and weak. Cut to you holding up a tablet showing a list: high blood pressure, poor sleep, stress, inflammation, you emphasizing. And that's where the habit we're talking about comes in. It impacts all of these. It looks innocent. even relaxing, but it's quietly putting seniors at risk while they sleep. All right, it's time to reveal the habit I've been warning you about. The habit that, according to the latest research and my clinical experience, is silently harming the brains of millions of seniors. Cut to close-up of a hand holding a smartphone in bed, TV remote in hand, light from a screen flashing in the dark. You voiceover. It's this, using screens phones. Tablets, TVs laid into the night. Cut to an older person lying in bed, scrolling through their phone or watching TV. Looking tired, I know what you're thinking. What harm could a little scrolling or a late-night show do? But here's the truth, using digital devices before bed can severely disrupt your sleep cycle, and that disruption is directly linked to increased stroke risk. Cut to a simple animation showing blue light hitting the eyes, gives brain staying alert, gives poor sleep quality. You voiceover. These screens emit blue light, which tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Your brain delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. That means less deep sleep, higher nighttime blood pressure, and more stress on your cardiovascular system. Cut to a brain diagram showing reduced blood flow and inflammation. And remember, stroke isn't just about clots or cholesterol. It's also about inflammation, high blood pressure, it's poor oxygen supply to the brain, all of which are worsened by poor sleep. Cut to medical study headlines flashing on screen. Text, screen use linked to 70% higher stroke risk in poor sleepers. You firmly. I've seen senior patients with perfect cholesterol, good diets, and active lifestyles, but their nightly screen habit was quietly setting the stage for a stroke. It's real, and it's preventable. Cut to you looking into the camera with urgency. So tonight. When you reach for your phone or turn on the TV in bed, ask yourself, is this moment of entertainment worth risking my brain health? Soft piano music plays. You're seated in a quiet consultation room. A photo frame or blurred-out medical file rests beside you. You, speaking calmly and sincerely. Let me share a real story from my clinic. Of course, I've changed the name to protect privacy, but the lesson is very real. Cut to reenacted footage of an elderly man in his home, watching TV at night, looking tired but unaware of the risk. You voiceover, Mr. Ahmed. A 68-year-old retired teacher came to me after experiencing sudden dizziness and slurred speech. One morning, no history of high blood pressure, no diabetes, no smoking. His lifestyle was healthy for the most part. Cut to hospital footage or animation of a brain scan showing a small clot. After a few tests, found he'd suffered a minor ischemic stroke, a temporary blockage in the blood flow to his brain. Thankfully, he recovered well. But we needed to understand why it happened in the first place. Cut to reenactment. Mr. Ahmed, watching late-night TV. Then using his phone in bed, you voiceover. When I asked about his daily routine, casually said, "Doctor, I just like to fall asleep watching TV. And I check my phone if I wake." Up at night. Cut to you nodding slowly, looking concerned. I hear this so often. What seems harmless was actually the root cause. Constant late-night screen use had disrupted his sleep for years, raised his nighttime blood pressure, and weakened his blood vessels. Cut to a real study title on screen. Journal of the American Heart Association. Poor sleep linked to 70% higher stroke risk in older adults. You firmly. Science supports this. Research shows that seniors with inconsistent sleep and nighttime screen exposure are at significantly higher risk of stroke. This isn't guesswork, it's measurable, proven, and urgent. Cut back to you looking into the camera. Mr. Ahmed, was lucky. His stroke was mild. But many others aren't. Some lose the ability to speak, move, or even recognize their own family, all because of a habit they thought was safe. Peaceful music plays. The scene shows an elderly person turning off their phone, dimming the lights, and following a healthy night routine, reading a book or doing gentle stretching, you speaking warmly. The good news is this is completely preventable. Small changes in your nightly routine can make a big difference in protecting your brain. Cut to you holding a checklist or pointing to tips on screen. Here's what I recommend to every senior patient in my clinic. 1. Power down devices at least 1 hour before bed. Give your brain a chance to wind down naturally. No phone. No TVJust.com. 2. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. Try light reading, soft music, or breathing exercises. These reduce stress and improve sleep quality. 3. Keep your bedroom dark and quiet. Even low light from a TV or phone can disturb melatonin production. 4. Sleep 7 to 8 hours consistently. A healthy brain depends on regular deep sleep, especially as we age. Cut to an elderly person sleeping peacefully, smiling in the morning. Closing words. Stroke is not something that waits. But with the right habits, you can take back control, starting tonight. Share this with someone you love.
Oh.
It might just save their life.